Alright. Looks like it should be fine. You should probably only be seeing a black screen when you do it live. Right, Mr. Skorgan, if you'd like to go ahead with the intro before, or do you want to do it while we do the team pan?
I usually do it during the team pan.
Okay, so let's load into the first match here. Gork's Goblinade Ad versus Metal Single Lady and Dog.
Oh, hold on.
Alright, I already clicked the button.
That's going to be an issue. I need to pause the audio on your stream.
Yeah, yes. Alright, we come to Gork's Goblinade Ad Stadium, the Goblinoid Factory. We enter team pan. Mr. Skorgan, I pass it off to you for introductions.
Alright, so this is Skorgan and Mutt back here to do commentary on our third game of Week 1. Again, this is Gork's Goblinade. That's my own personal team. We'll be going up against Metal Single Ladies and Dog. As we do the team pan here, we just finished up my team. As mentioned in the end of the last video, my plan was to drop 2 goblins in the hopes of getting better loners. That didn't happen before this game. I forgot about it. So I'm going to be playing with those 2 goblins. And of course, Metal Single Ladies is a combination of Necromantic and Kimmerer.
Right.
With the corn flip coming up for me now. If I remember right, I got the kickoff here and chose defense.
Chose the defense, yes sir. First thing to know is fan factor. You are ahead by 1, but we have nice weather regardless to start the match.
Right. You'll see me fiddling with my how I want to set up my guys quite a bit, because with those 2 extra goblins, I really didn't have a good idea of what I wanted to do, because those 2 goblins are basically supposed to be just any loners to throw on the line next to blue. And of course, they're not.
I mean, goblins aren't a horrible unit. You could be stuck with snotlings.
Right.
But, I don't think I've seen you utilize Skaven in any of our previous leagues.
They're definitely not my go-to, and I've had so many different builds going into this...
resulting in shocking nice weather.
Yes. Yeah. The weather canceled to weather. Actually, no, that on this one it's not. Yes. I believe we're playing on my stadium.
This is your stadium with the surf pitch, which I love for the relatively bashiness of your team.
Yes. The initial design was supposed to have a little bit more frenzy, and last minute I changed frenzy to mighty blow on those 2 guys. Hopefully, as the season goes on, the frenzy comes into these Blackwood's.
Flesh Golem with a skull for a very early turnover. Ball not exactly in the safest of places. So I see a light investment of I believe it was 2 guard on your end.
3 guard total with blue.
Oh, that's okay. There it is. Mistaking that for one of her pieces, as far as the icon. So 3 guard versus 4. You went with the 4 block investment. I believe we discussed that end of last game a little bit.
Right.
Either on or off camera.
Now, going into this game, my initial strategy is, and I don't remember if I accomplished this or not, but the werewolf and the thrower on her team are the only 2 pieces that can pick up the ball reliably, and by reliably, 50% chance most of the time.
Yes, I believe those are only her 2 Agi characters.
Right. So as this game goes on, that's what I want to get rid of on this team. And of course, her werewolf is the big threat to my mostly agility 9 team. I mean, not
Oh,
agility.
AV9, yeah, with
AV9,
the base claws.
which, as you can see, is already starting to come into play with knocking down.
Hans Carvey's
linemen
out
there.
already, yeah.
Just a KO,
I
but
mean, that's one for one, so all she did was even out the field. But that side, oh no.
believe me, it looked really juicy when she did it. Like, oh, okay, I can surf this werewolf right away, and then if I can get the ball, I don't have to worry about the werewolf for the first half. Because if I get the ball, I'm going to try to stall as long as I can with that werewolf off.
But then the goblin, didn't get the memo. Forgot to juice up before the game.
Right. But I did move my rats over, making it a little bit difficult, so it's not just a run down the field.
Lack of tackle. But Frenzy is poor man's tackle. Tries to get it again.
Dodge. Dodge.
I do like the hybrid choice. The Flesh Golems and Tomb Gardens, slow, staggering pieces, but they're so strong.
Yes, with guard on all four, it's a very nice setup for the your line in the middle of the field.
Fantastic zone control. Only thing that would make it better is some more prehensile tau.
Yeah, and of course Blue is starting with his. It's become a thing after playing. This is obviously the first one that we're doing commentary on, but as we're doing this, I've actually already played my first 3 games. Blue, as you'll see for the rest of this game and future games, has a tendency to get right where he is right now and just stand there for several turns.
He's got a lot on his
Really
mind. I
stupid.
mean, you gave him goblins. You haven't let him throw any of them yet. She's not sure what his
Right.
purpose is.
Well, his purpose is to just stand there and hit somebody. But as you can see, there's nobody around him to hit, and I think that's part of the problem.
True. That would be. When we have no purpose, what more can we get out of life?
Right.
A solid stun on your thrower, leading to a score. I feel she probably could have sustained another 2 turns of stall.
Possibly.
I mean, your beefy boys over there are still locked up doing their thing. And she went with the not meta human cheerleaders instead of the orc. Okay, she gets a player up as your knockout stays out. Which player was that for you? That was Hans, if I remember correctly. So just a lineman.
He's just a lineman. In this game, again, with the 2 goblins. Now, I'm going to keep bringing that up because playing with the 2 goblins completely changed a lot of how this game would have played. Not necessarily bad or good, it's just I now have 2 goblins that I play with. Because, if those 2 had been orc linemen or, something like that,
I mean, even just
those pieces
Skaven
would have been
linemen.
used differently. Yeah, they just been. But as the game goes on, you'll notice I do use the goblins as goblins, so I can't really complain or. It just would have been a different game with without the goblins or for something else. Because right now, as I'm setting up, I'm basically thinking, okay, I'm going to have 4 pieces down the field now for potential passes, as opposed to what would normally just be the rats.
And a quick snap as a result of our kickoff event.
Yeah, I had such a plan. Like initially, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna move these guys specifically here, and if I block in this order, I'm gonna get all these 2 dice blocks. And then I wind up blocking one time out of order that really hurt what my initial game plan was.
That's all right. We get a removal. Just a skelly line man fails the regen.
Yep. And of course, in our league, that's not a permanent death. It's going to be turned into a major injury, which I don't recall what she chose.
Okay, that prevents me from asking the question. Oh, we go 2 dice uphill. I believe this is what you were referring to by having accidentally went out of order. And then the bonehead also definitely hurts that.
Yeah, see, if I had not followed up, if I had just pushed and left him there, that would have been a 1 die. I say a bunch of 2 dice, but I mean, it's basically that was kind of the plan. And of course, Blue again just standing there. I guess he couldn't choose who to hit this turn. Because he's really
overwhelmed by
again.
options.
Yeah. That has since been coined as the Blue Brain Freeze, which is also a new flavor in the Goblinade stand.
And Jim Candy Crush taking a nap on the sidelines here for a bit.
Yes, sir.
I believe both teams here are either 1190 or 1200, somewhere within that respect, so a 10 TV value at worst difference.
Yeah, they were. I believe we both were at the exact 1200 going into this.
All right, Blue, you get a third chance. No choice overload. And he gets a hit with Mighty Blow. But AV9 is so hard to break. I'd imagine seeing her bring the werewolf back to try and deal with the rats was actually probably fairly comforting for you, no? Instead of there up on your big armory boys.
I mean, either way, because I mean, she has way better chance of actually injuring one of the rats as opposed to. But this.
Yeah, they're both
I mean,
down.
initially, like what I see here is kind of what I was already expecting with this. This basically choice of offense that I went with here to try and split the team.
I love the Goblin Run animation. Just so full of panic.
I actually, I guess I hadn't seen the animation for it in quite a while, but the Goblin Stomp is very.
The knee almost all the way up to the chin before it comes down.
Yeah. Of course, bad roll there on the pass. You know, you'd think with the re-roll you'd have a pretty good chance of succeeding that, but no.
Yeah, 3 up's a 3 up. I mean, Sly Pump gave it a fair college try with his 6 up. Where is the werewolf?
Werewolf's down
On the ground.
side, right?
Okay.
Yep.
So forces the ball to scatter. Werewolf blitz to pull away. Maybe pick that ball up. Instead gets locked up by the thrower.
Right. That's the thing about, Frenzy, is you have to follow up. You can't just do the push and then run away with the blitzes to free up players to grab the ball.
Okay, just casual skeleton pickup. Just making that look easy.
And again, goblins.
And we have another
Those
removal.
goblins. Yep.
With regen failing once again. And yes, using goblins for the sake of goblins, literally just over there to step on his toes, like, hey, big guy.
Yeah. Just go over there, poke him, and say, "Hey, we're playing here. You want to go do something?" And dodge it out.
So, the stunty pass as opposed to the one step forward and handoff. Fishing for SPP?
I believe if I measure that out, I believe that would have been a go for it to do the. So it would have been a go for it to a handoff. Is why I decided to go for the short pass.
Icy charge, taking a nap for the rest of the game, bringing you down to just the one rat. Get another surf, unfortunately on the thrower. With no ill
this
effects.
is also turn 8, so at this point, she has no options to score. I still do, but it's a.
It's a dodge. Oh, pickup.
Yeah, it's kind of a long one. I believe, if I remember right, I tried to do it with the rat, but we'll see. But of course, I'm the one that's going to be getting the kickoff. So even if I just actually do get the score here at the end of the game, at worst, I'm playing for a tie.
5, 6, 7.
Oh, that's right. It's scattered over there, making that scatter for her actually made a big difference. Because if it had stayed over there close to where the goblin was, the rat would have had the range to be able to get it and actually get in rather easily. I believe having to come across the field,
It eats up
I wouldn't
a
have
good
made it.
chunk.
So,
Yeah.
so I was trying to do the goblin to the handoff to the rat.
Get one of your orcs back. That's definitely a boon. And a Tomb Guardian stays down. So removal of one of her guards. Interesting choice on Coach Leah's side here to put the thrower up on the line. I wonder if that was intentional. And I just double checked. We have word from Leah Squirrel herself. She believes that it was an Agi down that she selected on the first injury.
That would make sense on a skeleton.
Now we'll see if she still was lurking to give us info on the second. Another touchback.
Yeah. Another quick snap, too. I think this was possibly a mistake to give it to the rat right away. But with all the failed passes and failed handoffs and stuff in the first half, the game plan was to put it in the hands of the guy who was probably going to be scoring and just try to cage up and get him up the field.
I can respect that, and we do have word. It was Aggie down on both of her permanent injuries, if she recalls correctly.
It sounds right, and of course, if she did go that way, then she can't put Aggie down on anything else for the rest of the season unless she cycles through all other permanent injuries.
Even if she gets rid of the players, or that's you selected this per team.
This is per it's each team type of a thing.
Okay.
We allow the coach to choose what permanent injury their player gets, but of course we don't want to allow for to abuse the same skill over and over and over.
Because obviously, for some pieces, Aggie down, for example, is negligible.
Yeah, like putting it on a Saurus, for example, that starts with agility 1 anyway. Turning it to a 0 changes nothing for that. You're still wanting 6-ups on it. Type things. But yeah, that's kind of the way it plays out.
Goblin cheerleader in the back, just running amok.
Again, just kind of running up the field. I know at this point in the drive, I wasn't planning on doing any passes or anything, but throwing that goblin, who's probably going to get replaced rather quickly, up the field, I was hoping to possibly draw some players to deal with it, moving the cage a little easier.
I am envious of just how solid a line she has when her players are standing. It is a beautiful thing.
It's pretty solid with 2 strength 4, stand firm, and guard on all 4 of those pieces. And when she starts replacing a lot of those skeletons for a little bit better players, the team's gonna get much better. For the fact that I got to play her week 1 kind of was a definite boon for me before she gets those. The second time we play this season, this may be a completely different game. Now, as you can see, I completely just decided, you know what? I'm not going to cage up because she put the two pieces that I wanted to punch very close there. And instead, what I'm hoping here is to get just a good mistake, you might say, on her end and be able to score back quickly.
That certainly helps a fair bit. The very quick turnover.
Yeah, and a stun.
Again, interesting to do that on the throw raw.
Yes, and of course, right here, I am in really bad position.
Next to no ball recovery.
All my guys are tied up real good. The Goblin is really the only free player. And obviously bring the one guy back there in the hopes to be able to get over there, but even with movement 4, he's really not going to be able to catch it if she gets that ball and runs down. So,
but that is
what I decided to do was I actually wanted that to scatter out of bounds. And of course, I got probably the best kick back in by the crowd by throwing it
I
up the
don't
field.
know. That Kislev circus.
Yeah, see, if it was Kislev Circus, he would have dove and catch because it did land right next to him. But of course, I don't have dive and catch.
Dodge coming in tremendous.
Hmm. Yes, that player Big Fur, that play basically, I said at that point in the game, this is my player of the game. Big Fur, the Goblin is because him pulling that off to at least give me the chance of still pushing this to a tie.
And a surf. Oh, double skulls. Your last reroll, but you managed to get the surf. Beautiful.
Hmm.
And removing it for potential for future drives. We always would like a bigger injury. Nope, nope.
Hmm.
This is,
I mean, a surf is a surf, and of course, with the Goblin Aid stand out there. I mean, I did have the +1 to that, so.
it's effectively a second mighty blow now you think about it.
And of course, I know right now I'm thinking, okay, the werewolf is gone. Let's take out the thrower. And I get the stun on that at least. Now, of course, she already has a player with it in the hand, but thinking that skeleton is not going to be able to run down the field very quickly.
Opts to try and hand it off. I guess if it had gotten the handoff, that's another 5 squares she was going to be able to move. But you have a sweeper. The Roid Rage Rain doing some work down there, and oh, as he moves up.
Yeah, well, he needed to move up so that he could tell Blue to move. Or no,
Fair.
you're talking, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was we were on the same page. Let's push him out of the way to potentially get one less tackle zone on it. Sure hands doesn't go off.
Gives her a 2 die on your thrower though, which does result in a POW. Armor holds with snake eyes on their armor dice. Both teams being out of rerolls towards the end of the half is definitely making for a contentious scrum here in the middle.
Correct. Just swing away.
And Hollowed Bend the Thrower has been removed via KO. Mighty Blow doing some work.
It really has. I really miss the frenzy on him that I was initially going to put, but I can't argue that Mighty Blow has been especially in this game. I mean, you've already seen like 2 deaths, and of course, turn 15 here, I've got to score. But I do feel really good at this. I don't think there's even somebody who can get there.
He is trying with a skeleton, but dodge is going to help out immensely. So a 2-up dodge, and you are out of there.
Right.
Goblin sticks his foot out, give you your turn 16, which I have all the confidence leads into a score. Oh, even better, you decide to no reroll blitz with a non-block piece. I don't question many of your choices, Skorgan.
I mean, it's still a 2 die.
It is a 2 die with no block, with both down there. is a victory for.
I mean, it was basically go for the 2-die blitz, or go for the
Two up dodge.
two up dodge, and it's
I mean, oh no, both down is 2 on the die because 1 is skull.
statistically, I'm sure they're almost identical
So it's
statistically.
technically
you're probably looking at
3 up.
The dodge?
No, the block. Was 3 up on both dies. So I mean, yeah, I had decent odds. I'm just saying
pretty
the
much,
chance of failure was it was there.
You have basically a 66% chance on either dice, because the only thing that would have stopped me was a double down or a skull on each dice. Because even a push at that point would have been enough to get it off. And of course, last turn of the game, this is just
Protect the pieces.
yeah, punch whoever you want. And you notice I took Big Fur off the line because he's the player of the game. Didn't want him to get injured. Perfect defense. This shift really didn't mean anything other than
just doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff.
Right. And then like a misclick there to put the I was joking with her that I was going to put a player up there to catch this kickoff. But of course, with it landing in my side of the field, there was no chance of that. But just last turn rising. So essentially, this game ends 1-1, and obviously
not enough
I would
movement.
prefer to have won it,
Yeah.
but I really feel like I had to fight to get that one in this. Rewatching the game now, it didn't seem nearly as one-sided as it felt when I played it.
I mean, you've got even armor breaks, even just yours resulted in stronger, more permanent removals. We get Slide Pump Punch, who, if I recall correctly, was the attempted recipient of a bounce there towards the half. And Scared of the Dark, which I believe was one of the ones removed via knockout. So he got the napping MVP.
Possibly. I know if you go over to die rolls, the next one over, the die rolls. Yep. As you can see here, really stupid. That's blue, obviously. The first 4 turns of the game, he attempted to do something, and 3 out of those was the really stupid. But then for the rest of the game, he was perfectly fine.
Honestly, it was after you put your goblin next to him that he'd be like, "Oh, right, dang."
It's supposed to do something. Other than that, I mean, statistically, everything looks really good for me here. Same thing for her. Just the fact that I rolled 2 deaths was kind of bad for her, because of course that means she's going to be down those 2 skeletons for the next game, and minus
I believe regardless they're 06, like no XP skellies, and that should be what loner she gets. Should be.
And the thing is, yeah, she's going to, well, as we'll see in the next game, we actually didn't take this into account, and I basically built my team planning on doing this. We're playing mixed teams, so you can get a basic lineman, in quotation, because they're not always linemen, from any of those mixed teams, not just the 2 that you're playing.
If I recall, it pulls the cheapest of the options Oh, so for
It's random.
is it random?
It's not necessarily cheapest because as we'll see in some games coming up, because there was quite a few players missing for week 2 games. There's some fun players that are coming in that a lot of people weren't expecting, and we actually had to go to the point where we made a ruling that any loaner, regardless of the teams, because of course we're limiting to only those races, but if you pull in a loaner from another race and choose to sign them, you may do so.
Okay. Well, that wraps up our game 3 of the season 4 in-house RTD Blood Bowl, Bowl for the Throne here. Skorgan versus Leah. We are going to stop the stream briefly for the sake of splitting videos, and we will be right back with game 4 after a short break.